Thanks for listening to our podcast, unMetered. As a member-owned, not-for-profit electric cooperative, our focus is on providing affordable, reliable, safe electricity and outstanding member service. One way that we're doing that is by providing more avenues of communication to you, our member. Through the podcast, we hope that you will be able to find some helpful hints, tips, and things to help you conserve energy, as well as some informational pieces that will help you understand what it means to be a member. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of unMetered. We're extremely excited to have you back again. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about the move over law and things that you need to be aware of when you're driving down the road. You see utility workers, emergency workers, things of that nature. Before we get into that though, what do we always talk about?
Sharing change. If you're not doing it, do it. Sharingchange.org. There's no reason you shouldn't be. It's easy, it's quick. Easiest good thing you'll ever do. Check it out, sharingchange.org. Or give us a call, 877-777-9020. Our member service folks, they'll be able to hook you up real quick, real easy. Just takes a couple seconds. We talked a couple weeks ago about Adam doing it. He said, I think start to finish was 5 minutes because he had to find his driver's license. Yep. Mine's in my wallet. I don't know where he keeps his. But real quick, real easy. And then outages, storms. It's kind of a blustery day out. We're outside again, but it's nice. Mm-hmm. In the event that you have an outage, where do you go?
You can call 1-877-777-9111.
That's right.
If it's during office hours, you can call our
member services
folks. Mm-hmm. They can also report it there.
Yep.
But the most reliable way, of course, is going to be our outage line. Social media, while it's not always the most reliable way to get there. Plus, you're still going to need to call.
Still need to call us. Yeah, our social media, they're not tied up to our outage management system, so it's easier just to call. But actually, it's interesting because great segue, actually. We're talking about outages, we're talking about a blustery day, but Adam, actually, you had time not too long ago to interview a couple of our linemen, a couple of our groundmen.
Sure have.
And talk to them just about what it is that they do. But they're the ones that this move over law is really, they're the ones that really are protected by this thing. Tell us, and you actually talked to one of our groundmen who told you a story recently about, so they weren't working, thank goodness, but there was an instance where a truck came off the road.
Well, yeah, so what happened was there was a truck recently, a large truck recently, that went off the road and actually knocked out one of the utility lines, utility poles.
But our trucks weren't,
our trucks weren't there, okay. So of course, that was a great thing for the guys that no one was injured, right, to my knowledge. But it went back to highlight that the lineman actually asked us to kind of talk to the members a little bit about being aware of when they're out there on the side of the road.
Right.
Because in a very similar situation, in that area, in fact, we actually had a lineman that was almost hit by a vehicle, and it wasn't that the person was being careless or inattentive. It's just they weren't aware that their mirror was sticking out further than they thought. Of course, he wasn't hit. Everything was fine. It just was one of those moments of, hey, we should probably say something just to be aware.
Well, and you bring up a good point because with the move over law, it tells you, and I'll paraphrase, sure, but basically it's move over as far as you can to give as much room to the people on the shoulder, exactly, whether it be police, first responders, linemen, utility workers. They actually just expanded it not too long ago to include utility workers. So, moving your vehicle over, even if there's oncoming traffic, everybody kind of moves over as far as you can. But it's not just your vehicle. You got to remember, if you're hauling something, you got to kind of, or you got wide mirrors, you got to kind of think about
and that's something that, especially in our area,
right?
We have a lot of folks that have those horse trailers, right, for instance. Yep. They've got those big long mirrors on the side because you've got a huge, right, you got a big load that you're hauling. But that also, again, contractors or roofers that have those large trailers behind them, sometimes you secure things down, right, but the wind and just general bustle of driving down the road, it shakes things loose. So, so just every once in a while, we want to remind members to go back and check and make sure that everything's tied down.
Right.
Because as part of that move over law, like you said, if you can't move over, you're supposed to slow down.
Right.
Now, it doesn't say exactly how slow you're supposed to go, but typically, if you're in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, you probably should drop down to about 30 or so, at least.
Right.
And again, that is just so that you have more response time to react to someone who is close to the shoulder of the road.
Right.
It also allows for that huge wind that comes driving through. If someone's in a precarious situation, for instance, on the side of, if they're up in the bucket or on the side of the truck, any type of movement to the vehicle could be a problem.
Right.
So again, it just kind of cuts down on those situations.
Right. Well, and also I think it's a good practice to just keep an eye if you're hauling something. Keep an eye on your stuff. I mean, anybody who's ever hauled anything probably knows that. I mean, I know I've lost a couple things, but the thing to remember, I guess, and what I like to think about when I come along those situations, be it utility worker, police officer, anything, is that's somebody's family member that's out there.
That is.
I mean, and I would hate to be responsible for that person not being able to get home. So it's going to take a little bit of time out of my day. That's fine.
Right.
I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, they're going to go home. They're going to see their family, and I'm going to eventually make it. I can be a couple minutes late. It's
and it's one of those things that they've started to crack down a little bit more.
Right.
Currently, the fine for not moving over for utility workers is $500 or up to 30 days in jail. Again, not legally, I don't know what all works there. However, we look at it from more of a safety standpoint.
Right, exactly.
And that's something that, one, it's safer for our guys, for the utility workers. It's safer for you. I mean, if you accidentally hit somebody or hit one of the pieces of equipment, because it may not just be somebody, it might just be a leg or something stuck out.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
We've got cones that we put out. Our guys will put cones out. They put flags out. And it's a large truck, and sometimes those trucks, especially the bucket trucks, they have extenders that'll come out, and you may not realize that they're there. So if you're close enough that you're able to rub up against the cone, you're probably close enough to rub up against one of the trucks.
And then if there's somebody up in the bucket, of course that. But I guess the other thing that it does is, if you're not paying attention, you don't move over, and someone, I mean, they're one of a utility worker, police officer, they're well within their area where they're going to be working, but they step out and it startles you. You're probably going to jerk the wheel a little bit.
Exactly.
Well, if you're not moved over and you're jerking over into oncoming traffic, it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah. So again, like I said, that applies for anything. As you said, a police officer, for around here especially, they park their cars in such a way where it kind of protects them a little bit more. So again, it's not just our guys. We safety is a huge priority for us.
Right.
But again, it's for anyone that's on the side of the road, that to me, it kind of also extends for me personally as I'm driving. Anyone who's stopped on the side of the road, if I'm able to going down the interstate, I'll move over. If I'm on the side of the road and someone has a flat tire, I'm moving over.
Yep.
It's just it not only is a safety thing. To me, it's a little bit of a common courtesy.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I've been
something
changing
that we
my
should look
tire.
at.
I've been changing my tire on the side of the road and not had people be able to get over. Man, it starts rocking your car a little bit. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I guess that's it just kind of leads to one of the last things we'll say. Is really when you're driving and you're moving over and you're watching out, put your phone down.
Yeah.
Don't text and drive. Don't do it. It's not worth it, especially in a construction zone. Don't do it anyways, but especially in a construction zone. I mean, I'm sure that our guys have mentioned that, and cones are out, but
Well, and there's been other stories. I hear kind of the talk of the guys, and they're like, oh yeah, someone about hit us today, and they weren't looking up.
Yep.
And it's not even a phone. It might have been food. It might have been a kid or something in the back seat that and just got pooped on. Dude.
So we had to take a little break. We apparently didn't. Well,
you definitely.
I didn't move over enough for the bird that was flying by. So we had to take a little. There was an accident. there was definitely an accident. So
there's still an accident a little bit on your elbow there.
Man.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, so anyways, this is what happens when you film outside. Nature doesn't care. The birds don't care. We are in their space. But hey, so don't text and drive. Move over for people. I got nothing, man.
There's no way that
I got nothing.
Like I said, at the end of the day, just be safe out there driving. No matter where you're driving, be safe out there. Be aware of your surroundings, as we probably should have been a little more aware of. But again, stay tuned next week because we're going to be talking about a brand new features that are coming out here in the next few months.
Stuff's going to be good. Not as good as this one, because this is probably one of the best things that's happened. But our stuff that we got coming out, seriously, is going to be awesome. It's going to be so good. All member-facing stuff, all stuff that you, the member, are going to be able to use to help conserve energy, to help pay your bill. There's just some really cool stuff coming out.
Yep.
Watch out for the birds, because they're out there. They're going to get you. They got me. They got me.
Thanks,
be safe, y'all.
Good week.
Dude, that is so awesome. unMetered is brought to you